I'm definitely keeping that in, Craig.
Keep it in, 100%. Not bothered.
Welcome to the Redallover reaction show, the first one of the season. And unlike the preview show, that there's only Craig remaining, we thought, apart from Craig, that it were a pretty ropey show. So we brought in two subs because we just want to improve it. So, as well as me and Craigie, we've got Jayne Elliott, bless her Jayne, instead of Josh, and forevermore that
Far
may
better
be
looking
so.
than Josh.
Yeah, and instead of the elusive Tom Webster, we brought in an old favourite of ours, often been on the instant reaction show outside Oakwell in the pouring rain. So a very hearty welcome to a Zoom show to Dean Pudfat, or as Alan used to shout at him
Yeah.
across the Ponty end, Gino, Gino. So welcome, Dean. It's good to
Thank
see
you.
you, mate. It's good to see you. And just an added bit, Dean's in Northumberland, so he's doing this from a house in Northumberland on his iPad. So he's got a lot more commitment than such as Josh, who's on holiday, um, Tracy, who's gone to a christening. I mean, what's that all about? And Tom Webster, who's supposed to be watching his kids play football in a tournament, and then told us, I can come on now, the tournament's been cancelled. Well, you're too late. Too late. We've
Oh,
got Dean in. We've got Dean in. We've upgraded. We've upgraded.
we need little Alan Andy on though, don't we? We've got to do little Alan Andy.
Aye. So we're here to talk as briefly as we can, because I get fed up because it's Sunday morning. It's 8:30 on a Sunday morning. I'm tired. Um, about our win yesterday. First game, first win. First match away from home, 3-1 against Plymouth. Now, according to the BBS, I don't know if this is true or not, this might be a Smithy stat that's just wrong. So it ain't me. Don't blame me, blame either BBS or Smithy. They said it's the first time we've won away from home on the first match of the season since 1996. And we all know what happened after that. So here's hoping, if true. So
What you doing?
come on, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Right then, Craig. Craig, you first, pal. Talk us through it.
Well, the first 10 minutes, I particularly thought they started pretty strong. I thought we were pretty slow off the mark, but being Barnsley, that's pretty much what happens every game last season. So I think we've kept that going. But after that, their defence just fell apart. I don't know whether it was our press that was causing them to create so many errors at the back. I mean, they were holding onto the ball too long. They were passing it straight to us. Brendan Wirradu had an absolute awful game. I mean, that is one of the worst performances I've seen. Which is, of course, the first goal. He's under
Took it
no
well.
pressure whatsoever, and he just slotted it into the bottom corner. It was a brilliant finish. If that what Keeler done, would have been laughing about that for days. So 1-0. We'll talk about the disallowed goal first as
Yeah.
well. Their disallowed goal. Caleb Watts come after and said defenders are allowed to do that all game, and I'm surprised that the referee saw it, but it was still a foul though, wasn't it, Caleb? You pulled his shirt. You saw him pull his shirt. So, they're trying to make light of it and say, oh, it should have stood because defenders can do that. We all know that defenders and goalkeepers in the area get more leeway than strikers do. So,
Send him some tissues, Craig.
yeah, we keep crying, don't bother us. Um, and then we get on to the second goal, and again Wirradu. How many times did they try to clear the ball upfield and it ended up going backwards? It were another Wirradu howler. He launched up into air. Their defender headed it out. Phillips whack straight up volley. Is pretty consistent when it comes to striking a ball on edge area. Goalkeeper didn't even make an attempt to even try and save it. He wanted perfectly into the corner. I think he were unsighted a little bit by the defenders, but 2-0 up, and I'm thinking this is going all right. This Caleb Watts obviously is I thought he was their player of the match by far.
Yeah.
He were absolutely unreal. He were everywhere. He was such a pain in the backside for his defenders. And also obviously he scores early on in the second half. And then Wiredu again in the first half. I'll just go back to the first yellow card for Jack Shepherd. I don't know why he's got a yellow card. The guy's literally laid on him and will not let him stand up, will not let him get up. But he's giving him a yellow card anyway. All their players are ragging at his t-shirt and everything. And, you know, if VAR were in, I think there's a few people in there who'd been a bit worried because they're all pulling on Jack Shepherd and he's just trying to move out of the way, you know. But Wiredu gets a card, Jack Shepherd gets a card, God knows what for. But I think the referee forgot that he got a yellow card. I thought he forgot he'd give him one because the handball, it gives him a yellow card and then it waits about 2 or 3 minutes before he shows him the red. So I'm thinking, he's thinking, damn, I shouldn't have carded him for the handball because his hands were here. Yeah, it hit his arms, but it's not as if it were out here and he meant to do it. He was turning away from the ball as well. So there are factors that would have gone into it. But anyway, so once he's shown yellow card, he's got to send him off, you know, once he's realised when he's checked his book. So I feel really unlucky for Jack Shepherd there. I don't think he deserved that at all. I don't think he deserved, especially the first yellow card. So we're down to 10 men then. I'm like, all right, that's it. We're completely under the cosh. Urahan makes some substitutions, which I think
Matt Roberts
were
had
needed.
already come off injured as well, Craig.
Yeah. I think
Both centre halves.
was it a groin? It looked like
Yeah, it
when
looked
he
like
landed,
it.
he pulled his groin or something.
Yeah, it looked like
Yeah,
it.
so we had like Dejavine at centre back, and then we had Conor Barrett. We had to make some changes. Conor Barrett come on, Kelly come on, and I thought these were really needed substitutions to defend what we had at the time. Obviously, we were 2-1 up at the time, but I thought we were more threatening than they were. You know, we created the better chances towards the end. Even I think it was because we were allowed to just be on that counter attack. There were a few hairy moments. But Keeler Dunn, I mean, the Bland chance just before Keeler Dunn scores, Bland were through 1-on-1 as well. So, you know, Keeler Dunn, as soon as I saw it, as soon as you see that number on his back, you know it's going in. You know, it wasn't the same feeling I had a few minutes earlier when Bland were doing it and I could see 30. I thought, oh, he's a defender. He might not finish this. But as soon as you see Keeler Dunn's number, you're like, this is going in. There's no way he's saving it. You know, and like I say, Mia didn't hit the roof as quite as much as I did because she had a 2-1 scoreline in the prediction. But that 3-1 sealed it for me until I saw 8 minutes come up. At a time, I'm like, oh, really? 8 minutes? Like, I know there's been a few things go off, but 8 minutes is a bit long, especially because the old Wiredu Jack Shepherd thing that was the longest was in the first half. So I don't know. But hey, three points, start at season, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, and that's my thoughts on that to begin with.
I've been told, Jayne, that because I'm stepping in hosting it for Josh, I'm not supposed to talk about the referee. I'm going to. They'll not stop. They'll not
that
stop
one
me,
never,
Jayne.
never not going to happen. That one never.
I'm
I
in
saw a
charge of it,
message
Jayne.
yesterday,
I'm
like,
editing
yeah,
it, Jayne. I'm doing editing. They can't. I'll put it where I want.
Yeah,
They're not
I
going to
saw
stop
that.
me.
I saw that message. I was like, Josh, shut up.
And I also remember him talking about 2-1. You can only have 1-2-1 a season. Well, they've had that and all. I'll have what I like.
Exactly.
You know, it's me that does the table, so I'll do what I want. What I am going to say, and I said it before we started, is that before he died, Smithy said put me down for 3-1 for this game, and I had loads of stuff saying, you know, do it for Smithy. Well, they certainly did. Or Keeler Dunn finished it off for Smithy because Smithy said 3-1. So for the whole season, I'm putting Smithy down for 3-1 for every match. Not sure what I'm going to do if he wins the league, but he's going down for 3-1. So it's a 3-1 as now officially a Smithy
Smithy
special.
special.
So Jayne, to save me embarrassment, although I will
Go
go
on,
on about
referee.
it. Tell me about the ref, Jayne. Go on. Go
What
on,
is
Jayne. I
that
know you
about?
can do it.
Right. So I've got a couple of things with referees. So God knows where they train. But yesterday's decision, the first one, were appalling. It was blatantly, obviously, not his fault. right? When you've got a load of players crowded around 1 or 3 onto 1, it's obviously not the fault of the one that's on the bloody floor, is it? Sorry, I'm saying swear words now, I really shouldn't. But it's really, really not.
Jayne. Not
So
bleeping it out, you can't be bothered.
So what are we playing at? Because these decisions can make or break a game, they can make or break a season and everything. They need to be really, really careful about what they're doing with these decisions. And like Craig pointed out, he'd booked him second time. He'd forgot about first one. I don't know whether he just did it as part of course. It's like, right, you a bit like when you're telling your kids off. You over there. And it's just done it, wrote it down, forgot about it, cracked on, come to book him again, which is, like we said, it's debatable, but more understanding than the first one. So it comes to book him again, like you said, 2-3 minutes, forgot he booked him, thought, oh, I best send him off. Sending a player off is a big deal in a game. Going down to 10 men is a big, big deal in a game. So I just don't know what is wrong with refs. And can I just say, I'm noticing a big trend in the game lately of what is with all the stoppage time at end. Since when did 8 to 10 minutes become normal? If you're having 8 to 10 minutes stoppage time in your game, how are you reffing? How are you officiating this game? Where's the flow? What is happening? Why would you have 8? I'm on a rater here. Why would you have 8 to 10 minutes of stoppage time? Because it's becoming very, very common. And more common than it's ever been. It's becoming every game where you think, oh, there's usually 2 to 3 minutes, 8 to 10, you're like, and every match we're going, what? Where? What is it? Is it a new thing that they're bringing through that they need to give more time? I just don't understand it. So there's lots of things I could point out with yesterday. Is on a positive, we've got to be special, we got a 3-1 win. We got 3 points. That's what counts. Let's hope the players some momentum going into next game, especially winning away from home. But again, last season, we did a lot of good stuff away from home. Then we were like, oh, here we go. We're at Oakwell. Look at them now. We need to keep that, not that winning form, but we need to take that for what it is. It's a brilliant away win from home, sloppy as the officiating might have been, and some of the other players were. Take it for what it is. But if you're going to get me on about refs, Andy, and officials and how the game is, I could go on all day.
Well, I'll tell you this, Jayne. I'm not going to criticise the referee. I'm just going to do what politicians do, or some politicians do. I'm just asking the question. So tell me this: why does he go over to Luke O'Connell for his corner and decide he's got to move it further back when what Luke had done is perfect? I don't particularly. I like it touching the thing, but the quadrant. But it about why be so pedantic?
I don't to appease the fans, because the fans couldn't see that the ball was hovering over the line. I don't know how they couldn't see.
What is the ref?
Why? It's semantics. It's a few centimeters.
Why, when somebody's flattened and being held down, why would you book somebody for being held down and being ragged about? Why would you do that?
At all. I can't. I'd love to say, can I just ask you one question? Why? What made you come to that decision on that moment?
Some might say.
They'd be so nitpicky at everything else, like, oh, we'll just let that go, but we'll be nitpicky over it. I don't know if refs like to be controversial,
I think some are lazy.
They love it.
I think it's laziness. In my view, it's laziness. If there's a tussle, just book them both, because that's the easiest.
And you can't really go wrong then, can you?
I think he was determined in this game, and I think it goes back to when he booked McGoldrick. That wasn't a booking. He won the ball. I thought he won the ball.
Yeah.
When I first saw it in live action, and then the replay confirmed it. It wasn't a dangerous challenge. It was him, the referee, basically saying, I'm the boss around here, and I'm going to tell you I'm the boss around here. And it seemed to be that situation with the referee to me. And I only hope that we aren't going to get a whole stream of these coming up over the next few games, because it just ruins it. I mean, as Jayne says, sending somebody off basically shifts the whole genre of the game. And you've got to be, as a referee, surely absolutely certain what you're doing when you send somebody off, because 16,000 people in there want a game of football, not to watch the referee brandishing his cards out.
So, some might say it were a shameful performance by the referee. I couldn't possibly comment. But some might say it was shameful.
Been told.
I just said that Sarinol at number 29, he walked away scot-free, and he was the one who was literally ragging the shirt off of Shepherd. Ragging the shirt. He didn't budge Shepherd because Shepherd's a unit, but he didn't. It was literally, they had to, 3 Barnsley players had to get him off him. And it was like, you weren't even part of it. Get out of the way. People are trying to split him up, and you're just there just pulling his shirt. I mean, yeah, that were absolute farcical. And though you can blame the referee, he's halfway up the pitch. It's the linesmen as well who are blamed.
Yeah,
they can see a lot better than the ref can. They should have pulled the referee to the side and said, Shepherd, he's just been held down. He were holding his arms out, for God's sake. He wasn't even touching him. And that Wirradoo's just wanted to give him a nice cuddle and a kiss on floor, and I think he wanted a cuddle back for scoring that first goal. I think he wanted.
He deserved one.
Yeah, but it was a joke. That was a farce.
That's why I mentioned officials and not just the referee. That's why I mentioned the officials of the game as a whole. They're not. I don't get it. They're not letting football flow. They're just making stupid decisions. Like you say, Craig, maybe on the back of fans, pressure from, but they're there they're there for the, fans are important, but they're there for the game. They're there to officiate a game. That's it. Don't care about the fans and what they're saying and what they think. That's not their job.
I'm going to move on from referee because it's a hard job being a referee, and I'm fed up here just picking up referee like it's all his fault and all that. So let's move on from that. What about Dean? So we go down to 10 men. We 2-1, and I think we're about 25 minutes left at the time. How did we get through that? How did we manage that? Last season, we'd have lost about 5-1 or some 5-2, something like that, and capitulated after 75 minutes. What a difference this season so far.
Well, you have to think that it's partly down to fitness, because I texted a friend of mine, my friend Benny from Germany, and who's a Barnsley fan, at half time, and I said, well, we're going to see whether we've eradicated last season's capitulation after 70 minutes, because obviously we were 2-up, and I started to get a bit worried when they got one back, but I think the fitness levels seem. And I think that was epitomised by Adam Phillips, who I have never seen run his blood to water in the same way that he did yesterday. So I think there's a real, the intensity of pre-season, which all the players have alluded to when they've been interviewed, is paying dividends. So that's one thing. But I think the level of organisation was another. Everybody seemed very clear on what they had to do and what their role was in that situation. And I know quite often they do practice 11 against 10 for the eventuality of it happening. But I think losing Roberts so early and then losing your other centre-back was an incredible performance. And I think, great credit to everybody. I thought, once Josh Earl had left the left back position behind, where he was quite frankly awful, if I'm being honest, and I like Josh Earl, but he ain't a left back, and they were ripping him to bits in the first half, and everything was coming down that side. But once he'd moved to centre back, he sort of took charge of the situation. Mile played very well at centre back, looked a bit iffy at right back, as we know. And then Bland, who was played in 2 different positions, which for a young lad, and looked totally comfortable. And then to turn up and nearly score from a left-back position in the inside right channel was amazing. So I think there's a real understanding going on with the players in terms of what they have to do and what the role is, plus the fitness. And I think smart substitutions from Connor. He could have brought Woodcock on, but at left back. But obviously Woodcock is very, very young and very inexperienced. So that would have been the easy decision, a left back for a left back kind of thing. So yeah, and the work ethic and the control that Luke Connell brought in midfield, nobody lost their heads, nobody was stupid. Naturally, as Craig said, we actually played better towards the end than Plymouth did. We found space. People were breaking, despite the fact that we were down to 10 men, and it was easy to play a 4-4 low block, but we didn't do that. And we could quite easily have scored 2 or 3 more at the end. Kelly had a chance. Yeah. Russell had a good chance. Bland had a very good chance. So, yeah, I think, fitness, organisation, and a level of togetherness that I haven't seen. And I think we are maybe at the start a team that actually looks like a team and not just 11 players running about aimlessly, which we've seen in the past.
Absolutely right. Who for you, Dean? Who for you, Dean, was your man of the match?
Oh, Luke Connell. I thought he was superb. It's probably the best I've seen him play for 2 years. I think there were some really outstanding performances. I think Cooper deserves great credit. I mean, 2 great saves. Well, 1 brilliant save, 1 good save, and then clearing the guy out did make my heart stop for a minute. But he actually won a 50-50 ball very clearly and won it well. Yeah. So he was excellent, and I thought Phillips' class and quality really showed throughout. And he worked a lot harder than I've seen him do. And he's admitted himself he can be lazy. I've heard him say it in interviews. So they were the 3 that really stood out. But Luke Connell was outstanding.
What about you, Jayne?
Referee, obviously.
I couldn't comment.
Absolutely. Referee, he played a blinder yesterday. I'm with Dean, but Phillips for me has been a standout. For that match, he's been a standout. It weren't bad last year, to be fair. He showed a lot of potential last season, but he really seemed to shine yesterday. Whether it's first match, whether he's had some downtime now, they've had a bit of a, talking to, or they've all had some time to think, right, new season, let's get cracking. But he seemed to up it a notch yesterday and show us really what he's got. And as Dean rightly pointed out, he said himself he can be a bit lazy. We all can, they all can. But he's shown us yesterday why we've signed him and what his potential is going forward as a player.
Craig, who did you rate?
I rated quite a few players, to be fair. I thought Bland and Bland, I've been saying about this guy since he started playing last season. I think he's got a real future in the game. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. And I think the versatility he showed in that game, being able to play right back, left back, we know he can play central midfield as well. I think that's going to come in clutch in certain times this season. I thought Jorgen Nathan played really well, and I was disappointed that he went off, but that could obviously be a fitness issue. We don't know. It could be have a little injury or something. But I was really impressed with his control in midfield, his calmness on the ball, even though being surrounded by 2 or 3 men at times. He showed a real maturity as well. So them 2, I just wanted to give a particular say. But for me, Connell, again, I think Dean Wright. It's been about 2 years since we saw a performance like that. His 88% pass accuracy throughout the game. He's 100% to his duels, his tackles are more than anybody else on the pitch. And I think it was a captain's performance. He's just been well, we've just been told that he's going to be captain again for this season, and I think he's showing exactly why he's been given captain. Also, shout out to Cooper. I think he had a sterling debut. I thought he played really well. Apart from the hairy moment where he rolled it to their striker, but it's a good job he's got a bit and a leap on him. He managed to get that cleared out. But yeah, Connell for me, I thought, what brilliant all game. I've just got a few stats I'd like to say, because all I'm hearing from Plymouth fans is, we give you 3 goals. That's the reason why you won.
Oh,
Right? Yeah, it's what I'm hearing.
oh,
But I would just like to say, you made them errors in defence because the pressure you were being put under by our attackers. You know, we had 7 shots on targets to your 3. We had a 78% shots on target rate, which made us more than double clinical than you was. So our players were making better decisions in the final third. You had 26 crosses into our box, 16 of which came from a Meche, and you only found a Plymouth player 5 times. That is diabolical. You know, if they had a target man, they might have actually had a chance. But when you're crossing it in, Josh Hill didn't have a great game at left back. Their number 10, Amechi, we're getting past him every single time. But I think the dominance we had in the air, at centre back, allowed that to be okay. You know, because as soon as they were putting it in, they were going nowhere. You know, and I think that's something that, especially Roberts and Shepherd, especially at the start of the game when they were particularly going down the right a lot, I thought we really dealt with that really well. But yeah, away forms continuing from last season, you know, being able to grind out results. I just hope we can do it at home next week.
Time will tell. The 2 hairy moments for me, there were the at 3-1 up, the Caleb Watts header from wherever, about 6 yards that he put over the bar. I'm glad he weren't 3 inches taller, that's all. Though that, and then, as you said, Craig, early on, Murphy Cooper, easily rolling ball out so he can clear it upfield, and all of a sudden realising that the players coming at him, because the crowd started chanting, 1, 2, 3, for the 8 seconds business. But yeah, he wiped the ball out and the player, but it was fair, he got the ball and he wiped it out. I do remember when I was talking to Ben from the Green and White on the away end, he was saying there were 2 things: that they've got some players injured up front, so that were going to be a bit tricky for them. But at the back, although the defence weren't that much changed, at the back they were susceptible to. They were slow, good defenders, good in the air and all that, but susceptible for an over-the-top ball because they turn slow, and that showed towards the end. With 10 men, when we've run our blood to water, and they're still trying. As Dean had said, there's Keeler Dunn that scored. There were a thing where Kelly could have scored, a thing where Bland could have scored, one-on-ones. There were a bit where Kelly had got the ball not long after he came on, and all he got to do was put it slightly to the left for Keeler Dunn, and it went a good pass. It were intercepted, but just touch it 5 yards and Keeler Dunn's in. So there were plenty of opportunities to score more. I were a bit surprised because my view of Plymouth had always been that they're a good, tidy footballing team, pass it about beautifully, and I think they were a bit robust yesterday, if I'm honest. And I think we stood up to it well, and we were quite, in our own way, quite robust, which we haven't been in the past. But for me, Jürgen Nathan, I thought until he came, I thought he were outstanding. I was a bit surprised when he started instead of Russell, because that's not what. Although Russell has been playing throughout the summer, that surprised me a bit, but it worked because I thought he had a really, really good game. But Cooper, for me, apart from that one bit at the front, a superb save around the corner from Watts, tipped a few over, looked pretty commanding. I thought I would never, there were times last season, particularly with Slanina, where every time the ball went near our net, I panicked, but didn't feel at all panicky with him in the goals. He looks
strong.
He looks a good goalkeeper. He apart from that one bit, instilled a lot of confidence. So for me, it just tipped him being the man of the match, which which is surprising. But you know, I thought we played so well. Our goalkeeper shouldn't be the man of the match. I think, you know, they've got a few players that should be man at match. Wirridu, he should have been man at match. He should have been our man at match.
I turned to me at half time. If that Wirridu walks out in the second half, you know, I would be happy as punch. Like, come off at half time.
I was devastated when he got substituted. I thought, well, that's it. We're not going to score another goal. Now he's come off.
I think you mentioned Jürgen Nathan there. My understanding from my source, shall I say, is he was actually carrying an injury.
Right.
Anyway, and he hadn't trained earlier on in the week. So, and I thought his role was really interesting yesterday because he was in there to lead the press. He led the press all the time. And I think he only came off in the end because, you know, he probably was told, right, you've got an hour.
Yeah.
Get in there. And he was actually the one who was going to the man with the ball all the time. And he does it quickly because he's got bloody long legs. Sorry, excuse my language.
Don't turn into Jayne, Dean.
Right, Jayne's already done that.
Thanks, Dean, love. Thanks, love. Appreciate it.
I'm sorry, Josh. I can't stop him, Josh. I'm trying.
But I think, you know, when you look and say, well, why was Russell not playing and he was? I think to a large extent because I don't see Russell as leading a press.
I think I'll tell you one we've only just briefly mentioned. I thought Caelan Vickers had a good game, particularly in the first half. He were going at them, and the one I feel sorry for is Reyes Cleary, because I reckon, I could be wrong, but I reckon he might well have come on if we had gone down to 10 men and we'd have got a chance to see him, because I really enjoyed seeing him when, you know, I saw him in a pre-season friendly. So, you know, I feel a bit for him, but I'm absolutely no doubt he'll get his chance, Cleary. Probably at centre-half against Burton, the way it's going. So, anything else from any of it? Anybody else got anything burning they want to say? Craig, out burning?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Can we please sign a centre-back and a right-back? Nah, we've seen that we definitely need them.
And a striker.
We've had a game.
Can we have a striker?
Another winger, please. Thank you.
Are we going to sign in 10 wingers instead of 10 right wing backs? Is that what we're going with?
I think it is quite worrying. I think you're right, Craig, because it's quite worrying about Roberts, because groin injuries, if he's torn it, I mean, that's 2 or 3 months out.
He's 35 as well. He's not going to be able to play every game all season.
Yeah.
No,
he needs backup.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I entirely agree. Yeah.
I'd love a right back. That'd be the first thing for me. A right back, a striker, and back up at centre back. But yeah, I mean, we've got Ogbeto coming in, presumably. Although the Plymouth guy, Ben, said that he believed he was more of a wing back than a full back, so it surprises me a little.
It's very attacking, but I think he'd have dealt with their winger a lot better, just because of the sprint speed from like 5 yards. It'll have been a lot quicker to keep track of. But yeah, he is definitely more attacking, and I think we will use Earl in the more games where we need to be more solid or see results out. But yeah, Alberto is definitely more attacking.
I mean, Hurricane was saying basically he is more attacking, and when Miles playing at right back, they kind of shift across. So maybe he's looking for one more defensive, shall we say, right back, on the basis that his left back is going to be more attacking than his right back. I don't know, but so I think he actually said the other day on Radio Sheffield that, you know, we then kind of go to a sort of back three when we're on the front, when we're on the attack. So maybe I could see a more defensive type of right back coming in.
That's the way football's going at the minute. If you look at any of the top teams in the Premier League, what's happening is you're having one fullback that's flying forward and everybody's shuffling over. And then you're having 2 pivots in front of that, which, you know, we've only got one. But that's the way football's going. So I do think we'll have a more defensive-minded right back. as opposed to because I think long term you're looking at Ghent being the backup to better when everybody's fully fit and everything's gelling, and I think we will see Earl go back into that central defensive spot. Him and Shepherd fighting that out for whoever's the better left-footed defender at the time, But like I said, Roberts, Dejuvigné for me, I think he'll stay right back. I don't think he's really bad. I don't think his pace is so slow that it's a massive difference. I think I think that's the reason why you saw them always coming down the right-hand side as opposed to the left yesterday, because I think this definitely saw Josh Hill as more gettable than Dejuvigné, because they tried going out left in the first 10 minutes and I didn't think they were getting much joy from it unless they were doubling up and overlapping, and then obviously we needed people to shuffle over. But long term, I do think Earl will go back to centre back.
What we didn't say before we wrap it up, Dean, is that you'd said before we started that you wanted to have a natter about the formation, the style of play.
Yeah, I found it quite interesting because I've had a little bit of debate on social media about what kind of system Connor wanted to play. And people were saying, no, he wants to play 4-3-3. And I was saying, well, he wants to play 4-2-1-3, whatever, different types of system. But what I think, what the way he set him up now is a goalkeeper back four and a pivot. And then the front five are given quite a lot of license to go where the space is within reason. So, and I thought that was quite interesting because a lot of teams are very, very rigid in the formation that they often play. Whereas I thought there was a lot of fluidity and a lot of flexibility about how, say, Jürgen Nathan or Phillips or McGoldrick was coming deep, Keeler Dunn was going forward. There was a kind of, right, okay, let's find space. And so I don't think we've got a definite set system here. And I think it will change from game to game depending upon the opposition. But I was really interested in the pace at which people are getting into space. I saw a little bit of it in the first half hour at Harrogate, actually. The speed at which people getting into these pockets of space and then the ball getting delivered. I just think, we aren't a team now that you can actually say, right, okay, we always play 4-3-3 or we always play 4-2-3-1. We've got that flexibility, and I think that'll hold us in good stead in different games.
That's lovely. Finally, then, dear viewers and listeners, if you're listening rather than viewing, and who'd blame you, get your views on what Dean said, what Craig said, what Jayne said. Don't mention out that I've said. But if you want, get in the notes. If you want to talk about the formation, don't talk about the referee. I'm not having it. Talk about Craig, about the game in general. Put it in the comments below, and we'll see you sometime in the week for a preview of the Burton game. So finally, thank you, Jayne, thank you, Craig, and welcome and thank you to Dean. All the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you, Craig. Thank you, Craig.
That's it, good chance.
Say it with a bit more feeling, Craig. For goodness sake.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's good to see you, Al, finally. Behave, Alan.
This show has been chaotic.
It's all fun. It's all out.
Yeah, I'll keep going then.
What is it?
All right, cheers, Al.
The dog's barking at the door because
It'll be
Amazon's
probably a
delivered.
Christmas present she's ordered. I don't order stuff off Amazon. It's
Yeah.
Kate. She never said a parcel were coming. Sorry about that. And Bruni, if you decide what Bruni says, the Vinny is barking up the right tree.
As jokes go, Al, that's pretty rough.
Oh,
dear.
no.
Oh dear.